Hi guys, welcome to today's lesson. So today's lesson, as you can see, is on recovery essentials. So we're going to cover the big principles of making sure that you recover well. So here's what you need to know, guys. What you need to know is if you don't get this stuff right, it's massively going to influence your results. You're not going to get the results that you want, especially in the long term. You're not going to be able to train with the frequency or the volume that you need to be able to get those physical goals that we're striving for. Myself, I was here about 3 years ago. My recovery was very poor. I wasn't using all the principles that we're going to cover today to the optimal, and therefore my recovery was not optimal, and therefore my training goals were not accomplished. I'd start pushing that envelope a little bit. I'd start, training with a little more frequency or a little bit more volume, and all of a sudden, straight away, I'd go 2 steps back. I'd get sick, I'd get run down, and I'd have to take, a few days off training. It was a really frustrating time for me because I love moving, I love training, I love trying to train, heavy, but my body was not allowing me to. Once I did get this right though, once I started, getting these principles that we're talking about today right, then all of a sudden now I'm able to train as much as I want and pretty much with as much volume as I want, and I don't get run down. I'm ready to go again the next day, and therefore I'm able to keep getting closer and closer to my goals. Okay, it's a lot easier to reach those physical goals if you practice more. Just like anything, the more you do it, the closer you're going to get to your goals. So it is really important. Okay, so we're just going to cover some big principles today, and if you get these big principles right, then yes, there's going to be no limiting factors in what you can achieve. So let's get straight into it, guys. The first one is probably the most obvious, which is why we have covered it so much, throughout these past 6 weeks or past 5 weeks. So that is what you put in your body. So what you put in your body becomes you. Everything that you eat becomes your cells. So if you want to recover well, then we need to put, really good stuff into our body. This good stuff, believe it or not, are the same things that we covered in the earlier modules of Live Lean 1 and Live Lean 2. So these things basically are big whole foods, nothing processed, lots and lots of vegetables to provide vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, good quality protein to help repair, good quality carbohydrates to help replenish, and some good healthy fats for hormonal balance. That's all you need to do. Okay, if you want to add some supplements, you'll know where you're at with supplements from the earlier modules, but you might want to look at some magnesium to help sleep, perhaps some protein powder, some good quality protein powder, if you're not getting enough protein in your diet. But, this is the first place of recovery happening, is what you put in your body. So put in good stuff and you'll recover well. It's that simple. Okay, I'm not going to spend any more on that because I think you really do understand the importance of what you put in your body and, the end result of what you get out of your body. The next principle is sleep. Okay, I love this picture here, having a bit of a daytime nap. So sleep is exactly that. It's, your body's chance to rest and recover. So recovery, doesn't only mean you're muscular system recovery. A lot of people think of recovery just as that, but it also involves chemical and hormonal balance, nervous system repair, mental state, and more. So sleep really does, help all of these processes happen. So, without sleep, sorry guys, just lost my train of thought there. Without sleep, okay, we're really going to be, flailing in the dark. We're going to have really low energy levels. Our alertness isn't going to be high. Our growth hormone is not going to be high. Our immune system is going to be low. But if you do get enough sleep, so 7 to 8 hours plus, all of these things are obviously going to be reversed. Okay, you're going to have a really good testosterone to cortisol level ratio balance, which is great for getting lean and putting on muscle. You're going to have a strong immune system. You're going to be more alert throughout the day, so you're going to get more stuff done. And yeah, you're just going to be in really good hormonal balance, so you're happy and balanced throughout the day. So a couple of things to know about sleep is that, first of all, the most important time is actually before midnight. This is, been shown through research to be the most quality sleep. Sleep in the most natural setting possible with minimal or to no artificial light. This will help your circadian rhythm, okay, meaning that it's going to be a lot easier for you to get into a good routine and good balance. And this also helps promote hormonal balance. And wake up with the sun if possible, and go to sleep as the sun sets if possible. Obviously, this isn't possible in all parts of the world, all the times of the year, but it's a great way to do it, and it really will restore your body. So let's focus on getting 8 hours of sleep per night. There's plenty of tips and tricks you can do if you have trouble sleeping. I really recommend cutting off all technology sort of at least an hour before sleeping. So no TV, no iPads, no phones. Put them in another room and, maybe instead read a book or just spend some time with your partner or whatever. But get rid of all artificial light. You can also do some techniques such as some writing, writing down any thoughts that are cluttering your brain so you don't go to sleep, with 1,000 things going on. Do some inversion, so put your legs up on the wall. Do some breathing patterns. Both of these things can really help your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest nervous system. So it can help this nervous system switch on and therefore your body relax and get ready for a nice deep sleep. So 8 hours per night, going to sleep, well before midnight is the best way to do it. The next principle is yin and yang. So two extremes. So if you always do, hard, heavy exercise, if you're training 5 times a week, lifting weights, in a really heavy environment, lots of loud music, if you're also really busy at work, always on the go, these things are really, really yang. Okay, so you want to bring in more yin. These are the complete opposite. So if you normally are in that gym setting, for some yin exercise, you might go for a walk along the beach, or you might go for a little paddle and surf like this fella here in the picture. If you are in that environment, that heavy gym environment, try those things. Try being out in nature. Try doing some slow stretching and slow yoga. The more you can balance out your what you do with your training, the more you're going to encourage that parasympathetic nervous system to switch on again. We don't sleep well when our sympathetic nervous system is always switched on, which is your fight and fright. So find ways to, find other extremes of what you normally do, and it can really help bring you back into balance, bring your hormones back into balance, and encourage good sleep and good recovery. The next principle, and the last principle I think it is that we're going to cover here, is lengthen. So all we mean by this is include some time to stretch, include some time for some foam rolling, include some time for some mobility work. Excuse me. So we really want to include these in our training under the yin and yang principle, but also because through training, especially strength training, where we're always contracting our muscles can and inevitably get a lot shorter. When they're shorter, our movement is not of such high quality, so we want to work on lengthening those muscles out again. This will make sure that you're ready to train hard again your next session. So spend time at the end of your session, at the end of your training, to do some static stretching or some mobility drills, or otherwise just spend 5 minutes here and there throughout the day working on any tight muscles that you have. I like to do this in 5-minute blocks throughout the day as I'm working, work for 25 minutes, stretch for 5 minutes. And I also have a little morning routine, which we'll go through in another module, where I include stretching to start off the day. So if you cover all these principles, guys, if you cover all of these principles, you're basically going to be limitless in terms of what you can achieve with your training. You're going to be able to train more often and with more volume without any consequences. So that's an amazing thing to be able to do. It's getting the most out of your body day in and day out. So the big ones to recap: eat good food, whole foods, lots of veggies, good quality meat. Make sure your sleep is really good. At least 7 to 8 hours per night. Yin and yang exercise and lengthen your muscles, okay, through stretching, through mobility and whatnot. So you get those big principles right and you're well on your way. So thanks for watching today, guys. Really look forward to hearing how you go with this stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.